Hello and welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial, we'll see how we can create .NET Core projects with Angular on it. So now, before we start, I'm right here inside the Visual Studio 2017 and we will be using it. Now we will be also using the latest release of ASP.NET Core 2.0. So now before we start, please check the description of this tutorial to see coupons for different Udemy courses. You can get any course for $10. We have the building websites and app with ASP.NET Xamarin Forms. We have the .NET Developer Skill Advancing, and we have the .NET New course, the Windows IoT course, and also the .NET Continuous Integration with TeamCity. So you can get any of these courses for only $10. So please go ahead and check out the description of this lecture to get these courses for only $10. So now, first thing first, you need to go and download the latest version of ASP.NET Core SDK. So this is a requirement to continue and follow along with this course. Now, after you download the latest SDK, you will also need to update Visual Studio to the version 15.3. So this is also important. So make sure that you have the 15.3 version installed. Make sure you have the .NET Core SDK, the latest version installed, downloaded. Otherwise you will not see the options we will be doing now. So now we're gonna go to File, New Project. Now what I want to do, I want to go to Web and select ASP.NET Core Application. So now what I will do, I will just name this. I'm gonna say so now, after selecting or naming the appropriate name for my solution and project, and I also will go with the latest version of the .NET framework, which is 4.7. Now I will hit OK, and notice that I will be promoted with a selection, with the different type of projects that I can create with ASP.NET Core. Now notice that we have the Angular app, and also we have React.js, and also React.js and Redux. Now you can select, of course, if you don't want to use the .NET framework, you can, .NET Core, you can change it from here. You can also change the different of the .NET Core application from here, but notice that the 2.0 comes with the Angular. Now after that we're gonna add the Angular application, and it will take some time until it's creating the project for us. And also you will notice some new features in the Angular ASP.NET Core 2.0. So now the project has been created successfully, and notice that the package restore is let's say it's happening now, and there are some packages that being restored to your project. So now let's close that and let's explore the structure of our application, and see how this will make our life much easier with the Angular application. Now if you notice, first thing first, in the dependencies, notice that I want to show you this. Notice the first thing you will notice is that we have all the core NuGet packages just in one location. It's not like the old one. The old one had the packages scattered, and different packages. Now you can just like find it directly in the front of you. So instead of just like seeing each one individually, there are all under the ASP.NET Core all package, and you can manage them, you can add, you can remove, as simple as adding and removing a new Git package. Okay, now notice also we have the node package manager. It's still restoring. It will take for sure some time, and it's restoring for us the needed packages for Angular. Okay, now for sure you are wondering which version of Angular is coming by default with this installation. If we head over to the package.json, okay, and see like the version number for the Angular node package. Okay, if we scroll down here, notice that the core option has the 4.2.5. okay, so they are like working with the latest possible release, okay, for the Angular. Now we have seen the dependencies. Now if we explore more, notice that we have the usual www root root folder which contain our static elements. We have also a new folder right here, and the usual controllers and the views folder. Now the client app folder, it will actually contain our own Angular JS code. Okay, so now if we expand the app, notice that we will have the components folder, and inside the components folder we'll have the different component like the counter, fetch data. These just like some default components that come with the Angular app. Okay, now let's explore more. We have the tests right here. The default template come with Karma unit testing, so you can test your app. Now let's head over to the controllers. As you see, we have simple MVC controllers. Okay, if we see some of them, you will see just a regular ASP.NET MVC controller. There are like nothing new with this, and this is the sample data controller, which contain an API controller. Okay, which will be sending some sample data to our fetch component. Okay, now if you come down here, this is just the normal views for the MVC folder. Now since you are working with Angular, you will not like typically need to add views, okay, or add controllers. All right, you will just need to add API controllers, okay, and like you might need to do some edits on the index, okay, on the home index CS HTML, like maybe adding some CSS styling, maybe if it's the suitable place to add it. Okay, so now like if you notice now, before we leave this control this MVC, that it's using some ASP.NET Core tag, okay, and this is the pre-render tag, and as you notice in the description, it specifies the path to JavaScript module that contain the pre-rendering code. Okay, so now let's close all these. Okay, and let's see that if we have all the needed new Git the npm packages has been installed, and yes, we have a successful installation of all the needed Angular 2 packages. So now let's close these and let's head over to the client app. Now most of our time will be over here, okay, and we will be like creating and managing our components from here. Okay, now in case you are new to Angular, all right, and don't know the file structure, each like component contains or has two files. The first one is the HTML, okay, and the second one is the TypeScript. Now in the HTML you can code your HTML code, and inside your component, okay, or I'm sorry, TypeScript, you will be placing your TypeScript code. Okay, now if we head over here, now notice that we have also like the fetch data, the counter, we talked about these, and the home component. Now the home component is the default one, okay, and this is its TypeScript code, okay, and notice that each component that it's specify, you need to specify the template URL, okay, which is the HTML code, okay. Now the selector represent the name of the component, okay, and you can like reference different components using like you can reference it like any HTML tag when you specify its name. So now what I want to do, I will actually run this project for you and see like it's just like any normal ASP.NET website, okay. You will not see difference, okay. You can just like run it. You will not feel like this is MVC or a different application like Angular etc. So now we have the application up and running, okay, and notice that we have the like the normal navigation inside any Angular app, okay, and we have like we can call this function the inside that placed inside the TypeScript, and as you see this is actually getting fetched from our own simple data API controller, okay. So as you notice, like it's really fast since it's like a client processing and we are using Angular, okay. So now let's actually stop this, okay, and let's head over to the Solution Explorer. Now what I want to do, I want to actually add a new component for you to see how we can add a new component. Now first thing first, notice that we have the app module right here, okay, which contains the definition of the different main components like the shared, the app component, and we are referencing the core, okay. Now also we have the browser, okay, which from here we can control the browsers. We can as you see we have the base URL, we can set it over here, and we have app module.shared. Now right here inside the app module.shared, as you notice we have the definitions for the components and we import them right here, okay, and also we are specifying the routes for each component inside the app.module.shared, okay. Now what we want to do, we want to add a new component, so let's do that. Let's come over here. I will actually copy the counter, okay. Now I have copied the entire folder so I can edit it. Now I will call this one actually test, okay. Now the naming convention for each one, be careful, let's delete the spec right here. The spec, in case you don't know, it will be used for the unit testing, okay. Now we will need to rename this, okay. Now the naming convention for each one is like test.component.html, okay, and this one also need to be test, okay. So now we have the test defined. Now we need to change the name right here. Now also we need to change the name of the template and also the name of the selector. Okay. Now if we head over to the shared right here, I need to, like, I will just copy this. I need to import the test component, so I will do that. Okay, and we need to call in test and also test. Okay, now we need to import this. Okay, now also we need to specify its path, so I will just copy that and we're gonna call it test right here. And we're gonna call it here test component. So the nice thing about 2017, in case you don't know, it has support for the TypeScript. Like, it can give us some intelligence, and as you notice, it can give us like some more in-depth information about TypeScript. Okay, so now we have defined the route, we have defined everything we need. Let's head over to the navigation menu right here, and what we will do, we'll add a new router link. Now, in case you don't know, the router link, it represents like a hyperref, okay, for the Angular. So we're gonna just come down here, add test, and what we will do, we're gonna run our application, and we should see some new changes, and we will be able to navigate to the test component. Okay, now while it's loading, we can explore the HTML. Now this is just a copy from the count, okay, from the count component, and as you notice, we are doing some string interpolation, and we are getting the current count, and we are also incrementing it. Okay, so let's head over to our application, and notice that it's still loading, and also it's loading in a different browser than your original. Like, if you are using Chrome, it's not your original Chrome, and we're gonna see why is that in just a second. Now this is the test component, and notice that we have successfully like created the component. We have a different route right here, okay, but we might need to change the text right here, and we need also to change like the title, so we can know it much better. Now we want to see some strong like features of 2017 for Angular, and why like you are recommended actually to use 2017 for Angular. Now this is the test component. Now what I want to do, I want to head over to the component. Now actually what I want to do, I want to place a breakpoint right here, okay, and see if I can get some debugging information from my test component. So let's do that. We have the breakpoint right here, and when we create or actually click the increment, okay, we should be heading over to the TypeScript file, and as you notice, we can now debug the Angular application as we like. So if I hit increment again, I will be presented with the value, or let's say the current value of the increment, alright, and I can see it like in real action. I can come down here, like if I hit create, now you can for sure expand it. Like if you come down here, okay, just like you are debugging a normal C# code. Let's say you can add a watch. If we head over to here, Notice that we have it now inside a watch. Okay, we can like remove the breakpoint, hit continue again, hit increment couple of times, hit back over to the watch. I guess we need to like increment it right here. And notice that we have changing value. We can change the value. I want it to be 10. Okay, I will hit continue. Notice that we have the updated value showing in the browser. So one of the main features of Visual Studio 2017 is that you can now debug your TypeScript code without any problem, just like debugging a normal C# application. Okay, there are actually no difference. Okay, so I hope you enjoy and find this tutorial useful. Please subscribe to our channel. Please check the description for the discount code on the different .NET courses. Okay, and you can get any course for $10. I hope you enjoy and find this tutorial useful. Thank you for watching.